Amarillo. I'm Skylar Gallup, and you're listening to Hey Amarillo, the interview podcast featuring some of the most interesting people and stories of Amarillo, Texas. We record every week at Amarillo College's Innovation Outpost. The IO supports education, workforce development, and industry growth by inspiring and facilitating innovation in the Texas Panhandle. Today's guest is Josh Kraft. Now, I knew Josh just a little bit through time together on the Parks and Rec Board and from his term on Amarillo City Council. I also knew he was a firefighter, and all of those things are really cool and interesting to me. But what I found super admirable in our conversation is Josh's focus on helping where and how he can, and even when it's not very fun. From running rescue operations in the heat of the summer out in the canyon, to throwing his hat in what was a pretty messy ring at City Hall, just because he thought he could help. Josh is a helper and a leader, and he left me with just an all-around happier and more optimistic view of our city. Here's Josh. Josh Kraft, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited about the conversation this morning.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's kind of start at the beginning. Where are you from? Are you an Amarillo boy?
Yep. So I was born.
Nice.
I was born in Louisville, but I went to elementary, middle school, high school here in Amarillo.
Louisville,
Texas. It's down by Dallas.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
down by there. Moved here. Born in '94. Moved here in 2000. So I can't say I was born and raised here, but I was born somewhere else and then grew up here and raised.
Pretty
here in
close.
Amarillo. Oh yeah, pretty close.
Nice.
Sure.
And so what age were you when you moved here?
So I was 6. Lived out by the old air base, and that housing over there.
Yeah.
Was I think we went to Highland Park for 1 year,
Mhm.
and then we moved, and then I went to Paramount Terrace, and Austin Middle School, and then I went to Amarillo High,
Okay.
Amarillo College after that. So,
What brought your family from the Dallas area to Amarillo?
my family, I mean, we had roots here in Amarillo, and then my dad got a new job here, and so moved back to Amarillo. So they used to live in Amarillo, then they lived in Burke Burnett, and then Dallas, and then back to Amarillo, and so we've been there ever since.
I see. And you said Amarillo High?
Yes, ma'am.
What were you into in high school?
Oh, just normal school stuff, and then I played soccer. I was a soccer player most of my life.
Soccer, fun.
Soccer player for most of my life, and then played hockey.
Okay.
So big into hockey, big into soccer. I still go out and play at the Amarillo Ice Ranch over there every now and then in the adult league, but it's a lot harder to recover now as you get older. So you're a little sore for more than you used to when you were younger.
Yeah, the knees aren't as forgiving.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And so what did you do after you graduated from Amarillo High?
So after Amarillo High, I wasn't too exactly sure what I wanted to do. I had an idea of maybe radiology or something in the medical field. I graduated in 2013, and then always had the aspiration to be a firefighter when I was young. I mean, I think it's kind of every young boy's dream at some point in time. And talking to my sisters, my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, he's a fireman down in Irving, Texas. So he works for Irving Fire Department. One day she was like, "Why don't you just give the fire academy a shot?" And so reached out here to Amarillo College and just kind of dove in and got all the information I needed and just went to the fire academy. That was the next step, and never really looked back since. Went to fire academy in 2015, graduated that spring, and then had to enroll into EMT class, finished EMT. That would have been about the summer of 15, and then after that I applied at Randall County Fire Department. I've been there ever since. So coming up on 2026 will be 11 years with them.
Wow.
So it flies by.
So how long, yeah, for sure. How long does that process take? So how long is Fire Academy?
So right now, how we have it structured in Amarillo College is it's essentially a full semester.
And do you still teach?
Yep.
That's cool. At Amarillo College?
Yep. So I'm part-time instructor at Amarillo College. So that's kind of the humbling part is going through that. And then I always had the aspiration, maybe what can I do to give back and teach?
Yeah.
And so, fortunately, I'm a part-time instructor at the college and teach out at the Fire Academy, that big, nice building that they just built over North Plains. It's fabulous.
Now, what all is in the curriculum of that semester? What all do you need to learn?
Oh goodness, so they're going to cover a lot. You're going to cover forcible entry, you cover structural firefighting, you cover hose deployments. I mean, just everything it takes. It's real fast, and essentially, we teach them to pass a test. Essentially, so we're going to teach them all the curriculum that they need that the state requires to pass the exam. And the way I look at it is, our job as part-time instructors is to teach you the basics, and then once you get on the fire department somewhere, they're going to teach you how to necessarily be a fireman,
Sure.
because
Yeah.
there's much more that goes into it than just the fire academy. I mean, you have the whole everything from the brotherhood aspect of it when you're in the fire service. You
Yeah.
have, you're living 24 hours of time away from your family at the fire station. There's a lot more that goes into it than that. And so that's kind of the philosophy. We're teaching you to pass exam, to get those bare bones, and then that way you can build up on that as it goes on.
Yeah, I would imagine there are a lot of jobs that are like that, but I would imagine being a fireman is definitely one of those that like you can't learn it until you're doing it.
Yeah, for sure. It's almost like politics, so you really don't know what it's like until you're in there. So
You're just a glutton for punishment then.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's how it goes. I guess I've always been a glutton for punishment my whole life. 'Cause
That's funny.
Just always just trying to, what can I do to serve my community and just be better, and I guess just roll with the punches and what comes with it. So
Okay, so you got through the fire academy, went to then EMT training. How long is that?
that's about another semester.
Okay.
So there, in a nutshell, I mean, you can do a semester. Sometimes they offer it in the summer, and it's pretty much a fast track course. So once I finished in the spring of 15, fast track course for EMT. So all in all, fire and EMS, probably 2 semesters total.
Okay.
Pretty close to that.
And do you have to have an EMT certification to be a firefighter?
Majority of the fire departments, especially in this area and in Texas, require you to have that. Now, there's some fire departments which you take, like Amarillo Fire Department, for example. There are fire departments they'll take a civil service exam, and they'll hire you first, and then they'll pay you to go through school. So you take, for instance, Amarillo. They had a test, I think early spring or summertime, and so you could just come in off the street or apply, take the exam. If you pass the exam, they would put you through a physical agility test, and then if you pass, all of that, following the background check and all of that, they would hire you on, and then they would put you through their own fire academy.
I see.
And so there's 2 different tracks. Back then when I was going through it, that wasn't an option. Everybody was having to funnel through AC's fire academy.
Yeah.
And then once you got out, you could go apply, whether it was Randall County, Amarillo Fire, Potter, Canyon Fire, just kind of wherever. And so that's been really beneficial. And so now there are departments that require you to have paramedic. So, I mean, it's 2 steps above an EMT, just a higher level of care. So it just kind of depends on where you're at in the state. You kind of go more towards down the Dallas-Fort Worth area, they're going to require you to have your paramedic.
Sure.
Whereas, there's some departments that, hey, to bring you on, you don't have to have EMT, but we'll put you through it once we hire you on.
Yeah.
So it just kind of depends, really.
Yeah. How hard is the physical agility test? Is it like something you really have to, or can like a relatively healthy person do it?
I would say, I think you would probably have to train and work out a little bit before you take it.
Nice.
Because it's timed. So like there is a time requirement on it. But I think that if you're relatively healthy, like you've worked out,
Yeah.
I would say consistently, you have decent cardio and stuff, you could take it. Now it gets harder as you get older. So like I haven't taken
Do you have to do it every year?
No. So that's what I was going to get at. I haven't taken it since, 2015, 2016. So it'd be interesting to see how I would do taking it again. Because it's different,
What do you have to do?
So if you're looking at the CPAT is what they call it. So
Okay.
the CPAT, so you got to do a hose drag, and you got to pull the hose. You got to go down and back. You got to carry, a couple saws down and back.
And are you in all of your gear, I assume?
No, not on
Okay.
this one. So there's some that do like a combat
Yeah.
challenge. Some departments they'll make you wear all your gear and be in that. Then you got to raise the ladder, lower it, and you got to do a dummy drag. So you got to drag, like a 200-pound dummy, X amount of feet, X amount back. You You got to crawl through a confined space, pushing with the pole. It's called a pike pole, so you're pushing it up and down on this device that has weights on it. So
Okay.
I would say it's the easiest thing in the world, but I think as you get older, it probably gets a little tougher. So I'd be curious to see how I would do myself if I took it. But as far as yearly after that, say once you pass that CPAT, you do have a yearly physical. You have physical exam, and
Yeah.
then you also have a physical challenge as well.
Okay.
And so that kind of just differs from
Yeah.
everywhere. Some call it a consumption test, some call it a combat challenge. And the consumption test is, they're trying to see how long you can last on one air bottle doing all
Oh,
that
my.
work. So in that one particularly, you're wearing all your gear, you're wearing SCBA, you're being timed, and you're having to do all the physical challenges, that are similar to what you would perform as your job duties.
Sure.
So just depends on where you go, really.
Yeah. So regarding the requirements and things that, as you kind of explained, are a little bit kind of less rigorous in our area, is that is there a staffing challenge in our area for firefighters, kind of akin to, I know, like with our police department and really a lot of civil service, lines of work. They're hard to staff up. Is that experienced here?
Yeah, I would say so. I think anywhere nowadays you do have that staffing challenge. A lot of it is probably due because I think as a culture, we're kind of not, we become more self-serving than what we can do as others. That's kind of just my observation on it. But, with that, I mean, you kind of got to be paid to make a living as well. So when you have departments that are paying very well, I mean, ultimately you're trying to compete with that. Well, not all of us have the same tax base, of course.
Yep.
So like the tax base in Amarillo is going to be different than just Randall County itself, or just Potter County itself, or just the city of Canyon. And so trying to combat that with all the needs, obviously that go on in local government with all the other services. I think staffing will always be an issue. It's just what can governing bodies and what can unions do to help push that envelope per se to stay competitive in a world that we're always trying to chase, because if Lubbock's going up in pay, and Amarillo's trying to compete, Amarillo may compete and catch up, but then Lubbock may go further. It's just always going to be
That's right.
Kind of chasing the tail.
Sure.
I would say. But I think one of the silver linings is that it's a double-edged sword, is a lot depends on your culture. So I see a lot of young firemen coming through AC that end up working for us at Randall County that are like, nothing against them or anything, just using them as an example is, well, I would rather make, $10,000 less, but I'm working with a great culture that I know is going to take care of me, that's not going to, treat me bad or, stuff like that. And so I think there's kind of that double-edged sword piece to it.
Right.
But at the same time is, how long is that going to buy you out until people start having family? These young firemen, they start having kids, they start having families, and it's like, hey, I've got to support my family. It's just a never-ending battle. And so I think in this area, staffing will always be an issue because we're fighting over the same pool of people as well.
That's right.
So it's one thing to keep in mind is we're fighting over the same people that are wanting to go to Amarillo or they're wanting to go to Potter, just like Potter and Amarillo are fighting over the same people that want to come work for us. So
just like they're doing it with police and teachers, and it's just a kind of an inherent issue in our area. What's the coolest thing about your job? I'm thinking about little boy Josh that wanted to grow up and be a firefighter, right?
I think the easy answer is always, just helping other people. But I think the coolest thing about it is you're getting to do a job that is different every day. So like there's never going to be the same exact shift I'm walking into. I never know what's going to happen. In the leadership position I'm in and being a company officer, I think that's kind of what drives me, is I don't know what we're going to get into, but at the end of the day, it's my job to figure it out.
That's right.
I'm the one that is ultimately going to be responsible for whatever may happen during that time, So I think that's the coolest thing. And then just all the opportunities that come along with it, So like everything we get to do with Powder Canyon, specifically since we work for Randall County, that's in our backyard. So everything I'm sure you're seeing in the media, like with the hoist helicopter operations, with all the high angle rescue stuff,
Yeah, talk about some of that
all of
training.
that.
I saw some pictures
Yeah.
that you posted that was like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So luckily for us, Powder Canyon sits in our backyard.
Yeah.
So that's ultimately,
So that's you guys are
yeah.
responding when all
Mhm.
these people forget to take water and it's 100
Yeah.
degrees outside.
Yeah. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. So kind of backtrack. So I started back in 15. I really got into kind of the high angle rescue side.
High angle rescue?
Yeah, rope rescue.
Okay, cool.
So that's kind of the two terms they call it, rope rescue or high angle. So
Okay.
high angle being like steep, just sheer drops.
Yeah.
100, 200 feet. So after I started back in 15, probably about 16, 17, I kind of got interested into it. My lieutenant at the time had the program. And so I don't know. It's just kind of one of those niches. You kind of find your niche in your fire service, whether it's like hazmat or extrication or rope rescue
Okay.
or just firefighting. Everybody will kind of find their niche that they really enjoy. And so when I promoted in 2019, I had the opportunity to have that program, oversee the program and take it over and just continue to build on it. So our team's joint with Canyon Fire Department because, Powder Canyon's pretty much right between Canyon and Amarillo. And so our team is a joint team. So we train quarterly. We train quite often. And then, summertime becomes really, really busy. And I remember one year, I think it was 2 years ago, I think they rescued over like 40 people in one day on it.
Well, they just end up closing the dang park down because they're like people.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. So you're getting people out there that aren't taking enough water or they're not wearing the right footwear. I mean, maybe 100 degrees up top, but I mean, it's 120 degrees down at the bottom.
Yeah, it gets hot.
And I don't know if maybe that day kind of caught the state's attention, because now they'll close it if the heat index is a certain amount.
Yeah.
So typically the trails were always open at all times, no matter what. And I get it, they're running a business out there, and so I don't know if maybe that 40 people in one day may have opened their eyes, and so now it's got to reach a certain heat index before they'll close the trail.
So help me understand, because 40 people a day, that's wild. Like, what does that look like for you guys? It's like how many staff are out there?
Yeah, so that's kind of an odd one. So, I mean, that amount of people. Because typically once you at some point in time, you're going to reach the threshold that you can deal with
right.
a certain amount of people. And so for us, like that day, we were actually, asking for more help. So we would call Amarillo, we would call more ambulances. Because and what it is the first call came in. And so, we're going down the trail. It's just continuing to get worse. So people are, I don't know if I can make it out now. So, okay, we'll come back to get you. And so it's just constantly, almost like a taxi service per se. So I don't know.
And I think about, like hiking the Lighthouse Trail probably takes, I don't know, an hour and a half anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So if you guys are going in and, that's just the math is kind of hard to figure out,
Yeah, and fortunately, so the particular one was on Lighthouse.
Yeah.
And Lighthouse is, I think, I wouldn't say one of the only, but probably one of 2 or 3 trails in the park that we actually can have UTV access.
Okay, cool. That's helpful.
So, yeah. So it's not, I wouldn't say that day was like us hiking all the way in to get all the way out for 40 people.
Nice.
It may have been like, man, we're driving in to rescue these people. These people look bad. They're asking for help. Hey, get in a shaded area. We'll be back to get you. And that's essentially what it probably turned into.
Yeah.
More than likely is. But those people that were needing help, they were really needing it. They're dehydrated. They were just heat exhaustion.
Talk about how quickly that can turn. I'm a bit of a hiker, and I've never been kind of in that situation, but I know that it can get serious really quickly.
It can. So a lot of it has to do with how well you're staying hydrated. So you could be not in the best shape person, but it's the heat that's just going to dehydrate your body so fast.
Yeah.
And so there's been times where the call has come in and we've gone all the way back in towards the formation, and the patient was up and talking to us and everything else, and then just from the formation all the way out, you could just see them start to decline.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is due to just how hot it is down there, the exertion of physicalness that they had to use just to get to that point.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to catch up in 120-degree heat, but you may have ran out of water.
Right.
So it can happen pretty quickly. I wouldn't, maybe confused.
Yeah.
So like you start becoming confused.
Yeah,
you
you're like,
start
it's like
feeling-
your executive function
Yeah.
turns off, and then people start making really dumb decisions,
Yeah.
going in the wrong way and all that stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
What's like the craziest story out at the canyon that ended up in a happy ending?
Ended up in a happy ending.
Yes.
Oh man.
Because they don't all, but.
Yeah. These people have been missing since about 8 a.m. They've been missing since 8 a.m., which is, I mean, that's early in the day, very early in the day. So 8 a.m., the call comes in, hey, we got some lost hikers and stuff. And, well, we originally thought they had gone on the lighthouse. That's kind of the last reporting of the area. So, at that point in time, we're trying to line out grids and start a grid search and so on and so forth. So it's about 1, 2 o'clock now where we have searched Lighthouse Trail, we've searched the GSL Trail, we've searched everything. 1 or 2 o'clock, we have the mobile command. I mean, it's a big ordeal at this point.
Yeah.
Like a lot of agencies out there,
Okay.
command structure in place. And I'll never forget, in the Lighthouse parking lot, that's where everybody was staged up.
Yeah.
And then right at the exit of the parking lot on that shoulder, there was just a truck parked there the whole time, a pickup truck. And I'll never forget, well, I can't remember if it was SO deputy or what it was, but I just remember there was a guy just walking from the opposite side of the parking lot into the truck, and that was the guy we were looking for.
Oh my gosh.
So they were nowhere near where we had been looking, and just nonchalantly thought that he was going to get in his truck and leave. So,
Jeez.
yeah, the police wasn't too happy about
No.
that. So
It's a lot of resources.
it is, and it is a lot of resources, and ultimately, taxpayers are paying for it, and that's what they're going to get. But at the end of the day, I mean, it is a lot of resources that are being tied up on something like that, or someone that goes in on the trail and doesn't take enough water.
That's right.
Wearing the right footwear. So, but
Well, and you're putting other people in danger.
100%, 100%, and it's job security for us. So,
People from all over the world.
So,
So do you spend most of the time out in the canyon, or are you like knocking down doors and fighting fires?
no, most of the time it's knocking on doors and fighting fires.
Oh, okay,
so
cool.
the majority of our call percentage is EMS calls for service, so
Okay.
medicals. And then you have car wrecks, of course, and
Yeah,
house
yeah.
fires, wildland fires, which is pretty big here,
Yeah.
and then Powder Canyon on top of that. So Powder Canyon stays pretty busy during the late spring, definitely all summer and early fall. So cool thing about that, I know we were talking earlier about, you saw some training pictures. So I believe we're the only fire department in the state of Texas currently that is partnering with DPS, Department of Public Safety, with their air division on hoist operations. So that's probably some of the pictures you saw. So DPS was up here for a week being trained, and 3 of our members were able to be a part of their pilot program. Hopefully, our goal is to maybe expand this across the state, but it's going to be a very valuable resource here in the Panhandle, especially at Powder Canyon.
So that's using a helicopter to go in and extract someone or whatever.
Yeah, get somebody out of there. So if you think about like Rock Garden Trail, for example, probably the hardest trail in Powder Canyon. There's times where it takes us 2.5, 3 hours to get somebody off of that trail.
Yeah.
I mean, that's if we're on the ball, we're moving, we know exactly where they're at, we're getting on the trail. So, scenario, right? We ran that exact trail a couple months ago, about a month ago, about a 2.5 hour ordeal, 2.5, 3 hours.
Yeah. And you can't get, I mean, it's too narrow. You can't get anything back there.
No, it's all just hike in,
walk in. Yep.
walk in, put them in the basket, and then wheel them out.
Ooh.
And it's rough terrain.
Yeah.
So, like I said, about a month or two ago, took about 2.5 hours on that same exact trail for somebody. Well, fast forward, between that time frame, we completed hoist helicopter training, which is week-long training to become what they term it a rescue swimmer. So the guy coming from the helicopter is called a rescue swimmer. And literally the day before the rescue, our guys had got signed off. I got their check off complete with DPS.
So they're ready to go.
Yeah, so
it's good timing.
Less than 24 hours, they were signed off, and got a call for service in pretty much the same exact spot.
Oh, fun.
From a month prior. So DPS flew out of Lubbock. Our rescue swimmer hiked up to them, and they were in and out in right under an hour and a half.
Out of Lubbock.
Yeah.
That's fast.
Yeah, so
It's
they
pretty
have,
wild that the helicopter out of Lubbock's faster than
yeah,
you guys having to hoof it all the way back there.
yeah. So it's a 40-minute flight time from Lubbock Singer
Hmm.
on that particular one. It's about a 40-minute flight time from Lubbock Singer to the canyon.
That's cool. That's a very cool program.
Yeah, it's cool. So we're honored to be a part of it.
Yeah.
It's going to save, I think, a lot of people's lives, and hopefully it spreads across the street, not only just for that, but hopefully for everything you saw down south with all the flooding.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of applications there. Does your marketing feel like a shot in the dark? Are your social media posts getting lost in the scroll? Unlock your business's potential with SKP Creative. They know your audience and design posts that reflect your brand and drive real engagement. From scroll-stopping social media content to powerful traditional marketing, graphic design, and website development, SKP Creative covers it all. Are you ready to elevate your feed and turn your marketing into a success story? Visit skpcreative.com today. What is really hard about your job?
I would say not so much what we do, more or less probably the mental health and the effect it has on your family.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be the hardest thing, missing those birthdays, missing those just all those special moments, that you may never get to experience with your kids again. And hardest part, along with death. Death's very, very tough, especially with children.
Of course.
I think seeing things like that, that's probably the hardest thing about the job, from my perspective. And seeing these young men and young women come in the fire service that are just excited for it. I just pray that none of that stuff ever breaks their spirit for the reason why they served up,
Right.
signed up to serve.
I always think our first responders, kind of those frontline workers, have such an interesting perspective on humanity because you see all of it in the moment when it's happening.
Yeah, you see people in their worst moments of their life.
Mhm.
That's the reason why they call us. And the sad part is we're behind the 8 ball on it. So typically the incident's already happened. So now we're coming in after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
So you see death, you see the nasty things. You witness people in the worst time of their life. Whether that's they're calling you to help them pick them up off the toilet in the bathroom, or they're somebody that they love is dead. So
Right.
you get to see all of it, and in those moments I just always remind myself, okay, what can I do to make this better for this family member, or what kind of compassion can I have? Because you never know what a hug may do to somebody in their weakest moments,
Yeah.
or when they're struggling with something. So
Yep.
that's what I always try to tell my people I work with, to remember that even though that this may be the worst moment of someone's life, what can we do to make it better in that moment for them?
Right.
Whether that's something simple as a hug, or carrying their groceries, or doing whatever it takes for that specific incident.
Yeah. Look for the helpers.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Josh, you were a city council member.
Yeah, I was in there from 2023 until I think it was May of 25.
Yeah. What made you want to run?
Good question. So that's a loaded one. Obviously, I've always had the willingness to serve.
Yeah.
And just different things going on in the political spectrum in Amarillo. Some things I agreed with, some things I didn't. And I'm just not the type of person to really just kind of sit and complain about it. If I want to try to make a change, or I want to try to do anything different, I might as well put my hat in the ring and put in the hard work and see what we can do to change it. And then the thing that really bugged me, I think if we try to go down to a core reason, was, remember, trash service was cut. Funny story. So trash service was cut down to I think once a week or something.
Yep.
During COVID, around that time, or it was right after COVID. And I was just mad about it. I was just angry. I went to take out my trash one day. It's just overflowing. It's overfilled. And I'm like, we can do better. And I get there's things that happen, but I was just like, we can do better. And so just really paid attention to politics in the city, and then really just threw my hat in the ring, prayed on it. Took a lot of support from my wife and my family,
Yeah.
and everything else in the community. And So that's really kind of the reason why I ran.
What was running for city office like?
It's one of those experiences, like we talked earlier, you never know what it's like until you're in there.
Yep.
So you really never understood what people thought. I mean, there's 1,000 different thought processes. There's 1,000 different cultures. There's 1,000 different ways to do something. Um, and it was very informative and very educational of like how much you don't know. Like you have an idea, but you find out pretty quickly about what you don't know. And how do you balance that with all the other 1,000 needs, 1,000 questions, and give this person the same amount of time as you're giving somebody else. So very educational, especially running for office, and you're putting yourself out there, and it's not just yourself out there. I mean, it's like, what have you done in the past 30 years? Plus, what has your family done in the past 30 years? Plus, like, what do other people think of you? Type of deal. Because people will dig. I mean, they're going to dig and try to find anything they can on you, especially your opponents. Like in our race, I think we had 7 or 8. I think we were one of the most crowded races in city history. I was the youngest candidate, I'm pretty sure, out of across all 5 seats. And so running for office at first, I mean, was a lot of like, you're too young for this. Like, you don't know what you're doing.
Sure.
You're not ready for it. But that kind of became your strength. So, like, if you look at politics, I would say not specifically locally, but maybe just across, like, young people. I mean, you don't see a whole lot of people in their 20s involved in local politics, especially at state level or national level. And so that kind of became a strength for me, was really looking at that type of demographic I'd be representing, young families just working blue-collar jobs and just young.
Yeah.
And so battling through all of that, I thought was a weakness at first, being young, but it kind of became a strength as I really looked into it and prayed about it.
Yeah.
And making all the forums, going to all the forums, meeting with people, knocking on doors, just doing all the, just all the groundwork. I mean, it's a lot.
It's a busy schedule for a little while.
It's very busy, and then it gets even busier when you get in a runoff. And
did you go into a runoff?
Yeah, ours did.
Okay.
Yeah, at that time it was mine and then place 4, so it was me and Dean Crump. Dean Crump went to runoff.
That's right. That's right.
I think it was Les and Claudette at that particular race.
I remember now. Okay, and so you won, and then referring to the firemen, it's like drinking out of a fire hose, huh?
Yeah. So let's see. Runoff, I think, was like in June. I took office, I think, July 5th. And then we went straight to budget.
Yeah, man, that's brutal.
That budget, and I told Tim Reed that when he was running too.
Yeah.
I was like, man, that budget is a beast. It's something, like, you have an idea, again, of every core foundation, like, we all know how to run a budget. We run a household budget. If you run a business or whatever, it's just a different beast. I mean, you have everything from, well, I thought my property taxes paid for this. Well, not necessarily. I mean, you have a lot of different
really
budgets.
Complicated.
Very, very complicated. You have everything from enterprise funds, which basically support themselves. So when you think of like your water sewer bill, that drainage fee is supporting this, the drainage department. Just like the airport supports itself. And so your property tax and your sales tax really just supports the core services of like police and fire. Streets.
Yeah, I think we all kind of like to think of Amarillo as a small town, but I bet it doesn't feel like that when you're sitting in city council.
No, definitely not. You get everything from, hey, I like the way you do this. I mean, that may be once every year, and then you get about tens of thousands of like, why aren't you doing this better?
That's a lot.
And so you're probably getting about, and I can only speak for me. So
sure,
I would say on a daily basis, probably between 20 to 25 emails. Just from citizens, on top of trying to stay in the loop of what's going on in the city through the city manager. You have all that, plus you're meeting with all the citizens, you're going to council meetings, you're serving on outside boards, which, I had the pleasure to serve with you on Parks and Rec. Yeah. So you get how busy the boards can be. And it's a lot of
this is not your full-time job.
Right, yeah. It's not your full-time job. It easily could be. It's a full-time volunteer job.
That's right, yeah.
And, but I wouldn't change it for the world. So that experience, hindsight 2020, that experience made me mature greatly. Um, in the learning experience from it, I know is going to pay over tenfold in the future for me. Just like talking budget alone, like there's things that I didn't, because I work for a government, obviously through the fire department.
Yeah.
But just the way how you take your budget in the city, just all the terminology and how it's structured, and you look at